turn the microphone on. Good morning. Welcome to the KRT Racer Focus here on Zwift Community Live. The place where it always helps to turn the microphone on. I am your chief sufferer this morning. We have 4 laps of Watopia Hilly Reverse and a huge crowd out here to race. I see some Team Vision. Dwayne Grant is in. I see Lookman is in. A couple KRT boys are in. So it's going to be one hard race for sure as we go around 4 laps of the Watopia Hilly Reverse. The race summary says it's about 22.6 miles. I'll buy that. We'll be done in well under an hour. The first 10 minutes are going to be absolutely brutal as we basically go through a bunch of rolling hills and then without much rest head straight up the reverse KOM, which is going to go to about about 3 minutes 40 seconds of pace here, which is just a really hard time. If you're new to Zwift, if you're new to cycling, people are basically going to be pushing 5 watts per kilo all the way from the front to the top of the first climb, and it's going to be very difficult. So 2 minutes to go here. I'll be monitoring the comments as best I can. Apologies for any gaps in commentary. I'm not really here to comment so much. I like to share what I know about racing on Zwift and how it's helped me, but sometimes, man, I'm so close to like throwing up that I just don't have that opportunity to speak. So that's what you got going for you here. This is video gaming to the extreme. There's nothing else like this in the world that really hurts you and can relax while and then ensuing every lap is going to be brutally difficult. So it's really important for me to just try to stay with the front in this first lap. Lookman Ascenders PTZ has stated that he wants to shred our team to pieces. So look for us in the blue kits. We'll be getting dropped by Lookman in the white kit. He's on the top left. He's just in the front row right now. Typical hard start as anticipated. We're going straight into a hilly section. I want to stay in good position because it's going to get strung out. See, look behind me. It's a long line. You don't want to be at the back of the line. Because then you have to make up places. So I'm not going to chase my teammate, but I am going to stay close to the front. You can see the incline coming up. Look at the top right corner of your screen. That's the incline. It's also controlling the resistance on my trainer and how hard it is to pedal. So as we go up, it gets hard to the point where I have to shift. All right, so we're just coming over the top of the first hill. Got Alex Callejo on my wheel. Alex working to keep the pace up, which is great. See, some riders I'm used to racing against, when it goes uphill, we all get dropped together like a family. It's hot. I have 4 fans blowing air across me. So I'm gonna be dripping sweat in a moment. I have my heart rate covered up. I don't wanna know what it is, because that's a good indication of how much I'm suffering. I'd like to know that afterward, not during. This is not the hill, but it is a hill. Got to push to get over the top. There's Robin. Robin's here, that's good. I just focus on Robin. That should be good. In good position. This climb, guys, man, it's not, the problem with it is that it's kind of steep, but not too steep. So it's not steep enough to just outright drop me, but I mean, sometimes I can stay on, sometimes I can't. So it makes it sort of a mental battle to know that it's possible. Because I know it's possible to get over this thing with the group. But to do it 4 times is a tall order. And that's what's on the menu today. 4 laps. A couple little inclines right here after the village. Definitely got to stay on the pedals as we go uphill. You can see in the top right I'm at 1%. It's not very steep, but it's steep enough that the draft doesn't work as well. So that's the critical thing of this game. There's slipstreaming in the physics engine. So if you're behind other riders, you don't have to do as much work because they're pushing the air out of your way. Huge group still. Bookman's just following me. There's the hill. You see those 2 statues? That's the steepest part right there. And then it's a long drag to the finish, or the finish of the uphill part. Really want to stay in position here toward the front as it goes uphill. Gaps open up and they get bigger. Now I'm in like the top 35 wheels, too far back. So I've moved up a little. Too close. You don't want to be on the front. Okay, that's once. 3 to go. Okay, sorry guys, I couldn't talk. Still can't really talk. We lost a lot of dudes, which is good. Now we just gotta stay away. Dave, if you're listening, ride your own race. Don't let me get you caught out. Okay, it looks like we're all back together here in the front. We caught Science Sport. James came back. Lookman's still in the bunch. I will try to push Lookman off the back, because that's possible by slowing down in front of another rider. Get a drink. I saw myself drifting toward the back. There goes Lookman. See how the bunch is going into a single file. If it's hard, you just have to make it to the slowdown. Here we go up the hill. Brutal. super focused right now, guys. Second climb. We got close. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna go red on the climb twice just to catch my teammates. Second climb got dropped. Oh well. We have a 1 minute, 22. Oh boy. We have a 1 minute, 22 second gap on our chasers. See if we can hold it. Oh, I'm squashed. That was so painful. Basically, we started that climb out with like an all-out 1 minute sprint. So I was doing like 1 minute PB power. And then I had to go for 2 more minutes. It's not possible. So we're in second lap now, going into third. Once we cross into this banner. Wow, Dwayne has dropped. That's amazing. That means the next group is really strong. We have Mr. Brown as well. So they're closing it down big time. My legs are so roasted. Look at this steering. We're obviously in a group, and those guys are riding in the grass. Why? I think we're gonna get caught. Hopefully they catch us on the hill. I'm so spent. back out to a minute. Yuri believes. Yuri's a believer. Robin's too smart, but Yuri's believing. So we gotta push on the pedals a little bit here. I'm struggling to get anything other than zone 2. They're gonna catch us. Pretty soon here. Those time gaps in Zwift are bogus. They just closed 30 seconds in about 1 kilometer. We weren't going that slow. All right, third time. Oh gosh, guys. There they come. Looking in my rear view. Here they are. Man, I am so cooked. Turning the pedals over hurts at 100 watts. One lap to go. One more climb. It's brutal work. I have to stay focused on this course, guys. Sorry. There's no flat. There's not really even a meter of flat on this entire route. So I really have to pay attention to what everybody's doing around me. Big chase group here though. Big group. All right, guys, I gotta cast this race. I didn't do anything right there, and I just almost yacked. So let me put my glasses on. I'm just gonna soft pedal. And we'll catch up with the front of the race. I'm cooked. All right, we got a main chase group here coming through, starting lap 4. We got Zun, Brown, Burke, Chan. I'm not in this group. I'm just watching what's going down. Kim here, one lap down off the back. And then here's a main chase group with Sticky, Bottle, Peter Hayworth, and Homer Simpson and Jerome. They're not too far ahead. There's a group not too far behind these boys that they need to watch out for. And various people that are lapped. And then here's the main front group with Hodges, Ascenders, Rukawa, Hartley, Ligtermoet. Awesome ride from, I believe that's Matt, or I actually really don't know. Ligtermoet though, the Australian here. putting in a really solid ride. Usually he's back with me in the vomit train. Not that he's necessarily vomiting, but in the herd house. So this is what happens in these races, is you get sort of this war of attrition. Nobody really goes for an all-out attack, but usually you just sort of ride away from people, and if they can't hold your wheel, then they get dropped. So just to be clear, I'm not riding in this bunch. I was, but I almost threw up. So I'm gonna just take it easy and bring you guys another perspective on the race. Tell you what I'm seeing these guys doing. So they're pushing big watts right now. They're going up a hill. You can see in the top right corner of your screen, 2%. So that means if they have a smart trainer, it's adjusting the resistance. As they go up a hill, it sort of squeezes down, just like when you lose your momentum in real life. You have to shift gears, perchance, or you have to push harder, push over that. So right now they're coming down into the sprint. At all these little banners, you can get power-ups. So you might see some of these guys use a power-up right now so that they get a new one as they go through. Kind of like Mario Kart, you know, when you go through the... See, Lookman just dropped his drafting boost. So that lets him have an aerodynamic advantage behind other riders. And he's looking to get a better one here going through. The best one in the game is the Aero helmet, which gives you an aerodynamic advantage no matter where you are, if you're behind other people, in front of other people. So it's really good for a sprint, and it's the most coveted in the game. There's also a featherweight, which sort of makes you lighter and gives you the effect of having a higher power to weight ratio. So all these riders you see, they are all people like me on real bikes. There are no AI in this game. It is all real people. So Lookman representing Singapore in this bunch, the lead bunch here. Hartley out of the UK. Hodges out of the UK. He really likes cake. He's on my team here, KRT, KISS Racing team. That's the original purpose of this broadcast, was a racer focus. But like I said, on the hillier courses, you have to be really fit to all stay together and have that tactical sort of situation. On Tuesday we had a flat course, much more tactical because it's much harder to split the bunch up. So we were able to sort of have a plan for the last 5 miles. Who was going to pull? Who was going to stay in the slipstream? Slipstream's important in this game because the physics engine lets you save power when you're in the slipstream. So these boys now coming through the last little bumps before they get to the real climb, which is the real test. And then they will be shortly thereafter at the finish. You can see on the top right of your screen, this is the overall, the overall profile. Just follow my mouse pointer here. So these guys are right here at this orange dot. The KOM, the King of the Mountain, hill climb ends right here at this red checkered polka dot thing, just like the Tour de France polka dot jersey, right? But this group of 4 is right now contesting for all of the podium places and for the win. Looks like Hartley there took a flyer off the back. Hartley is in the camo. He looks like his avatar is a little more heavy set. I'd watch out for Ukawa, I think that's who that is. Lookman here has the red, green, and blue stripes on his back. And then Lichtermode is in the neon kit. You see these special bikes here. Lookman's not riding one, but you can see these guys with these fancy, like hollow looking wheels and colorful rims. That's an achievement in the game. So all these bikes are unlockable as you progress through the game. So right now we're coming past the gas station here on the right. That's where the climb starts. You'll see a white line in the road. First lap through, we did this thing in 3 minutes 40 seconds, which is a brutal pace. Again, I'm not in this bunch right here because I wouldn't be able to talk. I'm just riding along behind because I almost threw up, and I really don't want to throw up on the stream. And I wasn't even doing anything. So we're gonna follow the race unfolding in front of us. There's a big old chase group not too far back. And these, I thought there were 4 of them, but it looks like there's 5. So these 5 guys are now coming into the steep part of the climb. You see the top right corner of your screen, 4.8%. Ascenders now at 5.5 watts per kilogram. Ukawa throwing it down to come up. He's trying to maintain position. Nobody here is really working to drop anybody at this point. They just want to stay in a good spot for when that pace does go out. Ligtermo now on the front in the orange numbers, 8.4 watts per kilogram, 617 watts. He's grinding away, 75 RPM. Heart rate getting up there, I don't know what it is. Coming through the alien statues right now with Lookman not too far behind. They're throwing down huge numbers right now. Got to carry that inertia over the top. Here goes Hodges, 7.3, just keeping it right over the top. A little bit of a rest, but this is a rolling climb. It's not just one constant grade. So you really have to stay focused, keeping those watts down in the downhills, because as soon as it ticks back up, you're gonna see it spike once again with Hartley now off the front on the left-hand side, 6.7 watts per kilogram. He's got the continuance. He backs right back off though. Doesn't want to go too far into the red here this early in the climb. It's gonna be about 3 minutes total. We're probably a minute and a half in. Just want to remind you, I'm not in this group. I'm way off the back, almost threw up, so I'm gonna talk about what's actually happening in the race instead of just watching me easy pedal on my own in no man's land. We got Hodges right now. Now they're betting into their climbing pace. Hartley on the front, 5.0 watts per kilogram. Ligtermo not too far behind, 4 watts per kilo. Lookman doing 4.6. This is their climbing pace. Nobody's really committed. These are not attacks. This is just that brutal grind, that threshold pace that you got to be able to maintain after all the surges happen. That's what makes a great climber. We're not on a very long climb here. It's only 3 minutes or so. But at the same time, that makes the attacks all the more brutal, all the more stinging in the legs here as Hodges now coming around the back. Expert move from Hodges. He lights it up going on the left-hand side. He's got a gap off the front. He slingshotted around. This is his move. This is going to take him to the line. He's putting all his eggs in one basket here. Lookman coming across, closing down the gap. Hodges probably not happy to see that, but he's just going to keep it pegged. 6.7 watts per kilo. Lookman now trying to recover. Hodges, if he has another dig, is going to go right now. This is the time. The last little incline. Hodges does not have a sprint compared to these other boys. Ligtermo now having gotten towed back on by Lookman. Lookman just staying in the wheels, never taking up the front. Hartley now 1 second back. He's got to close that gap down right now. He's got to keep on the pedals now. 1 second the gap. We're watching the finish of a brutal race. This group started with 40 boys going over the first climb together. Now we're in the 4th and final climb, and it looks like only 4 remain in this race. Hartley looking for some recovery. Now Lookman keeping it honest. Ligtermo looks to have some pretty good legs here today. 488 watts. They're carrying this over the top. Hodges up to 7 watts per kilogram. It's all about the power to weight ratio here. This is the chase group coming up the climb right now. We're gonna stick with the leaders as they go into the finish. It looks like a serious race as they're coming into the steeper parts of the climb. Back in the main chase group, they are not going to catch. This race is down to these 4 boys right up here. Ascenders, Ligtermo, Hodges, and Hartley. I'm not in this group. I got dropped. So we're gonna just keep it pinned right up here with the front boys as they come into the finish, because my avatar is in no man's land behind. I almost threw up and don't really want to do that in front of all the boys and girls at Mixer.com, Twitch, and over on Facebook. Hello everyone. I am staying focused on the race. Nonetheless though, we're coming into the final descent right now. Everybody just trying to get a little bit of juice back into the legs, maybe a spin, maybe taking a few big gulps of air as we come into the final portions of the race. Probably 600-700 meters left of this race right now. We got Lookman throwing it down, just trying to stay in the wheels. Hartley first wheel right now, 6 watts per kilogram. He's going to ramp it up. We've gone around under the bridge. Then we take a right-hand turn and we'll see the finish line from there. Hartley, nobody wants to make it stick. Ascenders here, 3.4 watts per kilo. They're playing games. It's cat and mouse right now out here on Zwift, the virtual cycling platform, as we come into the finish of the Kiss America's AM racing here. I am off the back and just bringing you the excitement from the front. here. Hodges from the KRT, second wheel. Hartley now, this is it. Hartley, 8.4 watts per kilogram. Hodges kicking it up to 9 watts per kilo. Lookman just behind Hartley. If he can hold on, he'll take the win. Hodges just staying in the wheels. If Hodges can open it up now, he brings out the arrow, but Lookman matches him. Arrow to arrow. Here we go. Hodges on the right. Hodges has the gap. Hodges holding it. Hodges out in front. Hodges, is he going to make it stick? It's going to be right down to the line here. Just coming through, and it looks like Lookman coming to take the win at the last second on the right-hand side. Interesting how Lookman's power stayed at 11 watts per kilogram after the line. He really wanted to make sure that that stuck. Let's check back in with our chasing boys and girls just behind here in the race. Looks like Alex is dropped off the pace, and we have lost for just a moment the group. Here's Zund, they're coming down. This is the main chase group. They're racing for 4th place right now. Onifre out in front. Dwayne though, Dwayne made the attack, and we've got Hayworth, Sticky Bottle. Okay, these guys are all out in front. It looks like it went down on the climb. Jerome now out in front. Jerome Marriott, our Frenchman from KRT, out in front. He's probably got 600-700 meters to go, but Sport Science from Australia taking him on. His Tuesday is already over with. They're down under, and Sticky Bottle comes around on the right, but it looks like Watson now. Wow, there's all kinds of people riding through here right now. Sticky Bottle just trying to hold it, but it looks like Sport Science comes around on the left, but Jerome and Hayworth is there. Man, we got so many people on KRT. Who's going to take it right at the line? It looks like Sport Science is going to stay on for the front position there out of that main chase group. All right, everyone. A lot of good racing there. Here's another sprint about to go down. They're coming into the final stretch. Right now we got Cowan, Segura, Mana all together here. Robin Zund is my pick. He's raced a super solid race. He's going to lead it out right now with the aero power up, 8.1 watts per kilogram. But he's got Mr. Brown right behind. Cogs coming through. We got to get the overhead shot to see, is Zund going to be able to hold them off? It looks like indeed Robin Zund coming through to win that bunch kick. Great stuff. If I had stayed on, I probably would have been in that group. But look at me. I'm pedaling very slowly up the climb. This is no man's land where a lot of people end up racing in Zwift races. That was an inside look at what it takes to race on Zwift, the virtual cycling platform. This is my avatar right here on this fancy bike. I'm dropped way off the back because I almost got sick. Didn't really want to do that on the stream. So we're just gonna wind it down here. Got a ways to go. I'll probably finish the race, but don't really care too much at this point. It was too brutal. First 2 climbs, 3 minutes 48, and then followed up by a 4:09 and a 4:26. Really not too fast, but I just went way too far in the red. I even warmed up today, but coming out of lap 3, I almost yacked. Got pretty close there, so don't want anybody to see that, so we just covered the end of the race there. That's what it's like from the inside. And yeah, I appreciate Nathan helping out here in the stream because there's a lot going on here in Mixer. A lot of people watching. Thanks everybody for watching. Here, this is Zwift Community Live. This is a virtual cycling platform here. Pretty new game. It's been, I guess it started in beta in 2014. It was a closed beta, then they opened it up. People like me got on, and now we've been in the full platform now for about almost 2 years, maybe 18 months or so. So this is everybody you see in this game is a real person. All these avatars around are real people propelling the avatar forward with their watts, which you can see in the top left of the screen. So just so you can see, as I pedal harder, those watts are going to go up because I'm using a power meter, which is a sort of a torque based instrument. Mine is mounted on my pedals, and it measures the amount of work that you're doing. We've got other data here. You can see for a while I've just been going easy. But we have cadence, heart rate, and then the gradient in the top right corner of your screen. The gradient actually impacts, of course, the physics of the game. As you go uphill, you lose momentum. And I have a special trainer, like many in Zwift have, where as you go uphill in the game, it actually increases the resistance on the trainer so that it feels like you're going uphill in real life. Okay, so how do you turn? There is no controller. You can use your keyboard to sort of select which route you're taking. So like turning right on 5th Avenue, for example, or turning left on Ocean Boulevard or whatever. But you can't really steer yourself on the road. The game selects your line for you. So that's, yeah, sometimes can be frustrating because the physics of the game allow you to get a benefit from drafting other riders. Sometimes you'll get behind a rider that you don't really want to be behind, or you'll get on one side of the road when you want to be with riders on the other side of the road. So you're kind of out of control, but it's just part of the game. You got to learn to sort of get around that stuff. Usually you just got to put out more watts. So yeah, that was a good question there, Crossfire. Thanks for explaining Mushes. I do appreciate the help. Earlier I really couldn't answer any questions. I'm sorry if I made anybody angry that I wasn't paying attention, but it's hard enough to divert your attention in like a first-person shooter or some other MMO game that requires a lot of concentration. But at least in those games, your heart rate isn't at like 170 beats per minute and you feel like your eyes are going to pop out of your head. Because that's what this requires. This is a real effort. Definitely comparable, if not harder, to real-life riding. And it really prepares you for real-life racing for sure, and other real-life stuff that can be really difficult. Because in Zwift, like, check this out. You know, I'm going up a hill, 3.8%. If I stop pedaling, you're going to see my watts drop down, and then my avatar stops. So there's no coasting in this game. Even in a downhill, it has to be super steep for you to really get any sort of respite. So like on this hill, which has rollers, right? We're going steadily uphill, as you can see in the top right corner, but there's variations in the gradient. In real life, if you just get yourself over the top, you can usually get like 1 or 2 seconds. Like in this instance, you could stop pedaling for a moment, or at least stop pedaling as hard. But in Zwift, like, if you're in a bunch and somebody else is still putting out watts, you got to stay on it. It is not a multiplayer spinning class. I mean, that's a good Crossfire's saying that it's a multiplayer spin class. In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. You can do this all by yourself. Right now, what we have going on is a community race. So this is put on by community members. All the results are on zwiftpower.com, and that's gonna sort of give you an idea about what goes into this, where we've sort of built this up from the community side. The game doesn't really fully support this type of use like you might see in COD, where you just like sign up, you go get put in a room, you're competing, you get ranked, you get points or whatever. This, basically the way the people at Zwift HQ support this is they help us program events that we're all in a start pin, and we start together. And they put in a description. Is this a race? Is this a group ride? Some of the rides, there's social rides. So everybody's just in there, we're going real easy, chatting away, typing to each other. People have developed real friendships and stuff like that, just riding together with people from the other side of the planet. So I'm coming here just over the top of the KOM. I'll be done with my race soon. My race ended a long time ago. Super Challenger says this game is cool. Yeah, so Crossfire, great observation. I'll answer your question in a second. Crossfire saying that the game would be really cool with a VR headset. That is absolutely true. I've actually used this game with a VR headset. It's a super beta right now, so you can only use VR sort of at Zwift headquarters, or they did a North America tour where they went around to various like breweries and whatnot, set up trainers like this. But one of the things that they brought is the VR system, and you put it on and you look around, you can feel the air from fans blowing on you and all that, but you look down and like you see your hands on the handlebars. It's really cool. But basically what's going on is they're waiting for the VR tech to sort of catch up, because I don't know if you guys can see, but I was at points in this race, I had like sweat dripping from multiple points off my face. That's not really good for like an $800 cell phone to be, pooling with sweat. So they're kind of waiting for the hardware to catch up with the technology, but it's really cool. You just look around, you can see all the scenery around you. It's super immersive. Mush just wants to know what trainer I'm using. So I'm on a Wahoo Kicker. So the way this thing works is you take the back wheel off the bike, and then the sprocket with all the gears is on the trainer, and you just clamp it down as if it was the back wheel. Check it out on the internet. But it has really good like inertia road feel, so it feels a lot like you're just pedaling around outside. And yeah, I'm about to finish my race now. Very much delayed, but it was worth it. We got to see some awesome racing there from the bunch. But yeah, as I go uphill, the trainer gets harder, increases resistance as I go downhill. It decreases resistance. It also measures power, but I actually use power tap pedals. So I use a different instrument to give you the watts on the left, because I can take that outside. And because it's pedals, it's really easy to switch between bikes. Super Challenger wants to know how long I've been playing. I've been on Zwift since October 2015, because I really like riding bikes, and I found out that when I started working full-time and commuting, I was not riding bikes as much anymore. And I saw Nathan racing in the GCN race. They did a race, and Nathan was contesting against one of the Global Cycling Network presenters, and there were several other like big Zwift names in the race, and I saw them going at it, and I thought, this is awesome. I could race, maybe not at that level, but I really got hooked right from the beginning, got all the stuff, and then I ended up racing in real life, getting some what I think are pretty big results for myself, considering I've only just started. And okay, yeah, let's see. Matt Murray is asking, do you not get tired? Yes, you get very tired. The farthest I've ridden in this game, I guess the longest I've ridden was about 2.5, 2 hours, 40 minutes, and I did 100 kilometers. The speed, it's just different than outside, because outside you have to like stop for, hazards, roads, cars, traffic lights. But in the game, you never stop, and you never stop pedaling, so it's just kind of a different effort. So I don't really think about the miles too much. I really count time as the most important metric. But yeah, you do get tired, and that's what happened to me. Is basically I went so hard at the very beginning of this race. Yeah, I mean, you guys have done wind sprints outside probably at some point in your life. You gotten taken to the edge where you're kind of about to throw up. And that happened to me today. Usually it happens much closer to the end of the race, but it wasn't going to be fun for me to just be in no man land feeling sorry for myself. Dropped off the back. All right. Let's see, somebody had a good question, but I do not see it. Okay, yeah, here it is. Hug your Weisht. He wants to know, how do I get involved? How much are trainers? So if you have a bike, that's a good start. I guess some of the cheapest way to get involved is to go to the Zwift website, check out the trainers that they have that are supported. Then you can get a little Bluetooth speed and cadence sensor, attach it to your bike as instructed, and then there's actually an iOS app. So if you have an iPad or even an iPhone, you can play using the iOS app. That's probably the cheapest way, most likely, for most people to get involved. Now you can take it to the next level as well. So I'll just tell you about my setup. This trainer is like a $1,200 trainer. It's a smart trainer, so it varies resistance, it measures power. I have a nice, I mean it's not that big, but Samsung 37-inch monitor here, an Alienware, a bike, the power meter, the heart rate. So I've got a few $1,000 wrapped up into this game. A lot of it is stuff that you might use if you weren't using this game, if you're serious about cycling. I'll show you guys steering. So look at this. Look at the bottom here. This is the only steering that I get. So you see this junction up front. You can turn right or you can turn left. So I'm gonna go right. Yeah, thanks Nathan for the link. Not all are that expensive, exactly. That's really a critical thing. They're not all that expensive. That's just what I chose to do because I wanted a pretty immersive experience. The kicker is so named because it's really challenging. So yeah, if you guys come back later, check out the video on demand for this broadcast. You'll see really what was going on. So just to recap really quick, this was a community organized race. We've been doing this race at 6 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays since I think I started it in like January of last year. So we've been going about 18 months now for the KISS Americas. And there's KISS races, that's just sort of a type of race. That's one community, one set of rules. There's other ones. There's races where people get handicaps. So the first person starts and then everybody else is chasing. They handicap on time. There's other races where you handicap on weight. You all start at the same time, but like really, really strong guys get a lot of weight and height added. So then you end up with everybody racing against everybody, no matter how strong you were, when you started, which is a pretty fun concept as well. And then there's group rides, there's group workouts. I lead a group workout on Monday mornings. There's all kinds of ways to use Zwift. My dad is 70. He gets on Zwift and like, he'll go for an hour sometimes, but he'll just get on and push like 140 watts for like 40 minutes, get his heart rate up to 150 beats, and then he's like, all right, I'm done. But he's really getting into it. He's into like unlocking stuff. You can unlock different bikes. Let me show you guys that real quick. T. So you check this out. There's all kinds of different bikes you can use that I've unlocked, different jerseys. I have my own team kit right here, but as I stop I can change. So here's like a Trek bike that you can ride. You can change up the wheels, get these sick Envies here. These are all sort of like, mostly they're real life things, except for the Zwift concept bike. That's not real life. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on in this game, and it's not just about racing. But tune back in, check out the video on demand. That is going to show you what I was up to today, which was hurting myself in a race with some really strong boys and girls. Yeah, check that out. Come back later. And then to see a really pro level, like awesome, super high quality race broadcast, tune in later today because Nathan, I believe, is doing one of the European races at, I guess he did XRS on Tuesday. Bloody heck. I could probably figure this out. Check the ZCL schedule. That's Zwift Community Live here. We'll be on later today. Nathan's going to be commentating on one of the European races, which means just Europe in cycling means super, super strong. So those boys and girls absolutely crush it. And they're going to be on later today, later this evening if you're in Europe. It's either at 1:30 Eastern time or 3 o'clock Eastern time. I'm not sure. Check the schedule there. At Zwift Community Live's Facebook page, we got it up. That is an awesome race to see. Those boys attack each other constantly. The action is non-stop for sure, in all the categories too, because there's just so many people riding, so many people racing. In our race, it was kind of that war of attrition, right? But you're going to see some really punchy riding there if you tune in later. I'll be back Tuesday morning at 6:15 Eastern Time, 5:15 Central. That's here in the United States. Doing another racer focus, throwing it down. Maybe it'll be a flat course so you guys can see a little bit more of the tactics. But appreciate you all joining, watching the race, listening to me talk afterward. I know that was kind of unplanned. Sorry for that ad hoc. And I believe ZCL is on Twitter. I'm going to throw up our details. We'll see you next time here on Mixer, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Appreciate you all joining. Peace out. Hotkey's not working. There we go. I don't know why the hotkeys are broken. Later, everyone.